What's up, 3HL fans? We are back here at the Mobility Shop located just on the corner of Leslie and York Mills in North York. I'm Pat Gregoire, joined by CEO and founder Justin Fox, the man behind the big idea that is the 3HL Tour, the first ever 3-on-3 pro hockey. It's now not an idea anymore. We're in full swing. It's reality.
Season 2.
We are getting ready for Season 2.
Exactly.
Before we talk about some big dates coming up in the off season, we've got to talk about what we touched on a little bit last time on 3HL Live, episode number 1, the 4 expansion teams. We know there's 4 coming. Now we know where they're going to land.
Exactly. So we've got 4 teams. We'll start off with the Niagara. We're going to have a team called the Niagara Rapids. They're going to be kind of a cross-border team, so a bit of Niagara, obviously Canada, as well as Niagara Falls, New York. So they will have some players from both sides of the border. And, I mean, keep your eyes out and your ears in for another update where we talk about a couple of the events that are coming up. But so the Niagara Rapids are definitely going to be there. We're going to have the Hamilton Steelers, so they'll be the other expansion team. The other 2 will be sort of more north. We'll have the Simcoe County Clippers, which is going to be sort of a Collingwood, Barrie, Simcoe County area team, as well as the Aurora Avalanche, which is kind of going to be a team that's morphed from a couple existing players who are going to be taking on the expansion team there. So it's going to be exciting. We're kind of expanding into a couple new areas, obviously with the Hamilton and Niagara team, down into that Golden Horseshoe area. So we'll hopefully be able to bring in or draw some players from that area as well up into. We had a great event up in Collingwood. We're looking to have another great event up there this year. So looking at the Simcoe County team as well. So again, expanding a little further north. So we're excited. So now we'll have 12 teams in the league, including the original 8 with these 4 expansion teams. So it's exciting to be a part of the league, and we're ready to rock.
It is. And just to remind the folks at home, if you didn't watch episode 1, if you're thinking now, oh, all 12 teams in one tournament, no, not quite.
Right.
We're planning on having an 18 schedule event, 18 tournaments. So not all 12 teams will be in each tournament. So we're going to still stay with the 8 team each one. So, Toronto Bees, they're not going to be in every single tournament.
Right.
It will kind of be allotted that way. There will be the majors, though, as well, which is pretty cool. It'll be the top 8 teams. So, like Justin said, keep your ears open and your eyes peeled to hear about some of those.
I don't know if I said that.
It was close.
Yes.
It was close. So keep your eyes out for that.
Lines,
those tournaments will be announced soon, and the majors might be announced earlier than some of the others.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, like you said, that Hamilton team, the Steelers, they are one of the teams that the expansion, one of the expansion teams, I should say, that don't have a GM actually in place.
Right.
The 3 other teams do.
Right.
They have guys in place. They already have players in mind. They have their captains picked pretty much.
Right.
But this Hamilton team still is in need of a GM.
Yep.
If someone at home is watching right now and they think that they're qualified enough to be the GM of the Steelers, how do they go about that?
So, I mean, previously we had actually on Twitter and through some of our social media, we had reached out or posted that we were looking for some positions. We've had some conversations with people. I guess there wasn't really anyone in that Hamilton area. So we are, I guess, throwing it out there. If you're in that Hamilton area, you are interested in being a GM of a 3HL team, essentially running the administrative side of that team. There is a potential for a GM to also play in the league potentially. But primarily they would be more on the administrative side. So we are throwing that out there, and I guess if you are looking, you can reach out. You can either, you can send us an email at hockey@3hltour.com, or basically reach out to our Twitters. There is a 3HL Hamilton Twitter account as well, so you can connect us there, or at 3HL Tour on our main Twitter account, Facebook, whatever, Instagram. So 3HL Tour across the board through social media. You can connect with us, and we'll reach out and we'll have a conversation, and we'll try to find the right fit.
Perfect. Yeah, we are definitely looking for the right fit for that Hamilton Steelers team. Now, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to talk about those important dates, starting with the 2017 entry draft. Don't you move a muscle. All right, welcome back. It's 3HL Live, episode number 2. Pat Gregoire here with Justin Fox, and before the break we were talking about the expansion teams, and those expansion teams are going to be looking for some new players. So what better way than the 3HL entry draft on August 3rd. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting. We were just kind of putting together a sort of a top 150 prospects list of players that we think are ideally suited for the 3HL and fit within the mold of what we're looking for as a 3HL player. So we're excited that the 12 teams will be drafting on August 3rd. There will be a 12-round draft, so it'll be an opportunity basically for those teams to identify players that they want on their team and to expose the league to players that maybe aren't necessarily aware of the opportunity that they have to play professional hockey here in Canada in a pro hockey league that that is the 3HL. So we're excited to have our second actually entry draft. Not a lot of people knew that we had the first one, but this is definitely going to be an exciting day. It'll be all 12 of the GMs and captains coming in. We may even broadcast it live. I think there's been some discussion about that, or at least the first couple rounds. So it's exciting to get to that next step.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, last year's draft, it was also a big eye-opener. Obviously, the 3HL, a much bigger brand league at this point than it was last year when you did the draft. But there were a few players that's how they found out about the league, right?
Exactly. It was. I used it last year as almost a sort of a marketing tool, an opportunity to identify players that I thought or that we thought would be ideal for the league. And yeah, like you said, guys like Brett McLean, Chris McKinnon, some of those guys, the way they actually found out about the 3HL was, getting a Twitter feed, noticed that they had been drafted. They reached out, said, what is this? Had the conversation, and in each of those instances, they became the captain of a team in the 3HL, and they're amazing hockey players. So I think now that the league has grown and the awareness of the league has grown, obviously, I think our ability now to identify potential players, whether it be guys that are sort of aspiring pro hockey players coming in, maybe they're an OA currently in the OHL or were an OA this past year in the OHL, or guys that have played a year or two pro down in the States, overseas, and they're looking for that next step, or they're looking for what 2017-18 is going to bring to them in their pro career. We're going to identify them and we'll bring them into the 3HL as well. It's an opportunity for us to sort of identify guys that are maybe on the tail end of their NHL career, their other pro career, and we want to identify them as a potential for the 3HL. Maybe Yager goes number 1 overall.
Who knows?
Hey, if he doesn't sign in the NHL, he's open territory, right? So the criteria for the draft is quite broad. Essentially, teams are going to be identifying players that they think will come in day one and make a difference on their team, and will come in and play in the 3HL and enjoy the pro hockey that is the 3HL and the excitement that's 3-on-3.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So
yeah, and I talked to a couple of the GMs, one being Brandon Turner, and he's got his list already. I think he's ready to go for that draft on August 3rd. So like Justin said, we will be hopefully broadcasting at least a couple of rounds, but if not, follow us at 3HL Tour on Twitter. We will be releasing each pick by pick, so who are the new players on the 3HL Tour. So we know that one there. Sorry.
Dreams will come true.
Of course.
I mean, some of these guys may never have been drafted. I mean, we're at that level right now where we're going to be bringing in guys that are extremely skilled hockey players, and maybe have been drafted in the NHL, but they're just not currently playing. And this is an opportunity for us to identify them and bring them into the 3HL.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for those players that do get drafted, they want to make an impact on their team, but they're not waiting for that first tournament, or even maybe a player that didn't get selected, but they still are a 3HL free agent. How do they go about catching the eye of some of those GMs?
Yeah, so we're going to be hosting a series of sort of open skates, said not to call them training camps, but kind of like an open skate, open tryout, an opportunity for both the drafted players, current players from last season, as well as prospective players from various walks of life to come out,
Perhaps players in the future.
In the future, future prospects as well. So guys maybe that are still in their, in junior, that are looking to maybe catch someone's eye for next year's draft. We're going to be hosting a couple open skates in August for that exact reason. So stay tuned. Again, keep your ears open, eyes peeled, and we'll be posting those dates, and we'll have a couple partner locations as well, which will be pretty cool as well. So
yeah, no, that's going to be very exciting. I know a lot of the players are itching to get on the ice already.
Yeah.
But
I think some of them already are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to them. They're playing some of these summer leagues and stuff. So
for sure.
People are staying in shape, and it's
not quite the same when when you play that competitive, and that's the thing the great thing about the 3HL is for some of these players that maybe, took a year off or whatever it may be, it's now ignited that fire. They're playing competitive, meaningful professional hockey once again. So that's a huge bonus for these players. It's an opportunity that they can
exactly. I mean, that we talk about the three pillars of the 3HL. It's the excitement, obviously, of the 3-on-3 for the fans, but it's the opportunity for the players. And I'll use the same name again, Chris MacKinnon. I mean, he's been sort of with the league from very early on, and to see sort of the transformation from I think he's lost 30-40 pounds. He's back into sort of hockey shape. All due to the 3HL. And I mean, he's committed, and he sees this opportunity. He sees the opportunity. So it's exciting to to see guys like that who were amazing in the OHL. Scored close to 100 points 2 seasons in a row. Top 10 scorer. For whatever reason, kind of fell away a little bit from hockey, but now in his mid-20s is back playing at a high level, and is excited to be here. So or be a part of the league. So that's really what the 3HL is about. Those two, the excitement, the opportunity, and then obviously the third part. We've kind of made a bit of a shift, but it's more about the community aspect. So bringing these players, bringing these communities together, and really creating this community environment around the league. And as we, the 3HL tour travels around, just to reiterate what the tour does, we travel from venue to venue for a single event tournament date. That's building that community, whether it's from a tourism perspective, business perspective, and all of that combined, as well as from a charitable aspect as well. So exciting times.
It certainly is.
I say exciting a lot on these shows, don't I?
Well, it is exciting. I mean, the 3HL is exciting.
Exactly.
All this lead up is huge, and everyone's excited for the league when to start. Maybe the schedule isn't pegged down, but we do have an idea. The structure of the schedule is different. Last year, we kicked everything off on January 1st. This year, it's looking a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got essentially a 19-game schedule. Technically, we'll have a preseason event and then an 18-game schedule, which will include the Champions Cup. So the schedule will start. We'll have a preseason event. We're just finalizing some dates, but it'll be in September, with the regular season starting in October. It'll run through till April, and so roughly 3 tournaments per month. So either on a Saturday or Sunday, we'll have the events. And as you mentioned, there's 18 dates. 15 of those dates, as I mentioned, I think last time, are what you would term just a standard, 8-team event. 2 of the events are going to be, 3 of them are majors. The third major is the Champions Cup, but the other 2 majors we'll actually do a best on best, so the top 8 teams. So those dates will be announced. We have one in mind right now. As I mentioned, I think January 1st is going to be another big date for the 3HL. And then the Champions Cup, which we will do as a kind of interesting format, is going to be a 12-team single elimination tournament where the first 4 teams will get a bye. So yeah, the schedule will be September preseason, October through April, maybe into early May will be the season, with a Champions Cup final in sort of late April, early May. So it's going to be a fun 6 or 7 months there. So we're excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all gets started, like Justin said. The big kickoff to the offseason starts on August 3rd with the 2017 entry draft for the 3HL. For Pat Gregoire and Justin Fox and everyone here at the 3HL, and of course the Mobility Shop, thank you again for having us for episode number 2 of 3HL Live. We will see you next week.
Oh, quick! Oh, come on!